This is Matt for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by MVP himself, Michael Venom Page. We're here in London. I thought when I interviewed you at some point it wouldn't be in this setting, but we're here, bare knuckle boxing. Before we get into it all, how are you feeling?
No, I feel amazing, and it is still boxing. So
bare knuckle.
Yeah, we're in the arena of boxing. I feel good. I'm excited for this fight. I'm excited for what this fight can do and how big this fight can be. I think a lot of people are like wowed by it and shocked that it's even here. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of put on a show.
What made you decide to take this step? I've asked Mike obviously the same, because you're known for Bellator. You've obviously had a professional boxing bout as well, but why this? Why now? Obviously you're not unfamiliar with brutal combat sports, but why particularly this one?
To be fair, it was timing. So it's weird how things can actually take place. Like I said, I didn't get the result I wanted in my last fight. But I was completely fine, It was, there was no injuries, no nothing, so ready to go again, and even more eager because of the result to go again. But Bellator never had anything available for me. And weirdly enough, at that time, David Hay actually spoken to my coach. My coach was like, "Oh, there's a bare knuckle fight going. Would you do that?" And I was like, "Hell yes! I'd love to do that." But straight away I was like, "Yeah, but Bellator ain't gonna let me fight that." He's like, "Well, all we could do is ask." We asked, put it forward. There's 50-50 in amongst the Bellator team, but the right people that had the power to say yes were the ones that were happy for me to do it. So I've been blessed to kind of been given that opportunity. So yeah, I had to take it.
How good is that though, that they have said, you know what, go do that, because they're obviously expecting after that you'll be loyal, you'll go back there and you'll put on another show for them. How good is it that we're getting these companies, these statement companies to say, you know what, we'll release you for this, and showing you that sort of trust that they're not going to have you tied down to that watertight contract and just keep you from performing and getting out there. Like you said, if you're ready to go, that must be pleasing for you that they've allowed you.
Mate, I think more organisations, especially within the mixed martial arts, need to use this as an example. This is so good for their fighters, but it's equally good for them as well. For me, everyone's wowed by this. I'm going to go out, put on, get another highlight reel, and then bring all that attention straight back to Bellator. And I'm looking to fight again as soon as possible, because I've got business to handle over there. If they had a fight for me relatively soon, and I think 2019 when I had 5 fights back to back, I was on it, and that was because I had lost, and I was like, I need to get one back. So I'm thinking the same way. I need to get back in there, and they were like, oh, we don't have anything. So I'm like, no, I need to fight. I'm just twitchy. So this came, and it's worked out for the best.
What's a loss done for you, sort of mental side of it? Is it a case of you looked back at it, assessed, pushed it under the carpet and said, you know what, I came out of it unscathed, I can put the wrongs right, let's just get back at it, let's get ready to go?
Yeah, again, the mistakes and stuff that I made, I already know, I'm going to adjust. There's a lot of people that are questioning whether I even lost that fight, but it's down to them. For me, I didn't do enough. It should be convincing. I wanted to finish that fight. So for me, I always analyse myself, because that's what I can control. So I got to go back. I'm still doing all the work necessary in the background with my training, as well as now I've got something else to add to my training. New goals, keeps me sharp, keeps me in the gym, keeps me staying fit. Can't complain.
Now, professional boxing, I saw your debut, I believe however many years ago it was now. I mean, I thought I'd be seeing more of you in a professional boxing ring. Will you at some point return to professional boxing? Is that in your mind at all? We know you're the Bellator king and you want to stay there, but will you ever dip your toe back in the waters of boxing again?
100%. To be fair, that's the first thing I was looking at when they said I'm not able to fight. I started searching for boxing events. I was like, man, I want to see if I can get back into boxing. And the only reason why I didn't or haven't continued is because of a lot of politics within the boxing that kind of prevented me from doing my boxing. Because remember, me and Joe Joyce had first fights at the same time.
You did, remember that?
Yeah? So, and look how he's kind of progressed. I wanted to keep going, but it's just different when you've got so many people to have to tick off before you can get to move anywhere. And then these guys, again, they had their own politics as well. I was just like, let me just continue doing what I'm doing. But in all honesty, I wanted to box, and I still want to box. So you'll definitely see me in a boxing ring again as well.
That's good news for boxing fans. Well, let's get your opinion on some huge fights coming up. Anthony Joshua and Usyk have got a press conference tomorrow in London. We know what happened the first time out. From your opinion, experienced combat fighter, what do you see happening in the rematch? There's a lot of variables in this, but what do you see happening?
In all honesty, the same thing could happen. But I'm listening to some of their coaches and their interviews and what they're saying, and it feels like they're not changing too much. So I don't know if it's like kind of like tactical thing. Let me just say it to these guys, but it doesn't. They seemed that they were happy with what they had done the first time, but need to make a few tweaks. That's the complete wrong mentality. And if they go in there and do the same thing again, the same result's going to happen.
Who said that? Because I think even when I ask him tomorrow if I get a few minutes, I think he will openly admit he completely got that wrong. It doesn't take a trainer or anyone to say that. He tried to unbox someone who's got like a boxing encyclopedia, which is, it's really rare that you're someone who's that good technically, like boxing wise. Do you think this impact of Robert Garcia, can he have an impact on Anthony Joshua in this short period of time to get that animal out of him, to work out how to impose himself on Usyk to get the victory?
It's very difficult because it is a short space of time, and a lot of people have natural habits. Now, even if I come out and I start the way that he's telling me to start, when things start to go a little bit wrong, you tend to automatically go back to what you are instinctively good at. So this is why it's better to go on your natural instinct and train that to becoming, becoming the game plan and becoming what you're going to do to win this fight. He just needs to be a bit ugly. He needs to be a bit more aggressive. Usyk struggled to knock people out in his own division, let alone in the heavyweight division. So look at the advantages that you have and focus on that element. You should be similar. For me, Chisora did the best against him.
Yeah, he was brilliant against him. I don't think he got enough credit for what he actually did.
Not enough at all, but for some reason I feel like the British media and Chisora, they just have a weird relationship. I don't know why, but he did exceptional. Cross-stepped him, gave him no space, and even Usyk and his team were admitted, we struggled to get off any form of game plan. Yeah. And I think and that was in a short space of time because he had just changed and worked with some new people. Now, if AJ is able to do that, I think AJ's got a bit more precision and his uppercut's dangerous. If he can get that kind of closeness and land those uppercuts, one of them will land, and that's the end of the fight.
I think people forget as well, although that it was a convincing win by Usyk came out of there pretty marked up, so AJ's punches were landing. I'll ask you a bit of a random one now. It's not random because apparently it's happening, but then I heard last night it might not be. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a lot of pros I'm speaking to, some who have fought for world titles, are convinced Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury. From the outside looking in, what do you think happens?
Yeah, Jake Paul wins. I'm not even going to question that. I don't think Tommy Fury is anywhere near as good as anybody thinks he is at all. Weirdly enough, Jake Paul, as much as he keeps calling out all these crazy names, he's not on that level. Yeah, he's not on that level, nowhere near, but he is a better boxer. And for me, people are always so focused on where the person comes from. So he's a YouTuber though, yeah? But there's boxing fighters that are mechanics before. There is MMA fighters that were swimmers before. That were rugby players before. You can come from anywhere. The difference is where he come from brings a massive spotlight, so he's under pressure from the beginning. But looking at how he's training and stuff, you can tell he actually is passionate about boxing, and he's got the resources to draw as many coaches and trainers and that are at the best level. So, but for me, he wins that fight.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that develops, especially what we heard last night. Have you got a message for your fans who are going to be tuning in to watch you do your thing against Mike Perry on that night?
Man, this is bare knuckles. I've just changed the game again. Yeah, I'm a current fighter that is going into bare knuckle. With my skill set, it's going to be a mess. In a good way for me, in a bad way for my opponent. He's going down.
Absolutely. MVP, thanks for giving Into Boxing some of your time, and hopefully we'll catch up fight night.
Definitely. Thank you very much.